Hello, my name is Michelle Story, and this is my submission for our discussion number 3, Selective Breeding. Have we gone too far? This is for Biology 20 for COS Spring 2021 semester with Dr. Walters. So I would like to discuss the broiler chicken. That was the animal that I chose to research the majority of this afternoon. And I found some really interesting facts about selective breeding and how it has affected chickens. Breeding that is selective is a type of breeding that is done for benefit or for profit. And so when we're talking about selective breeding, we're also talking about the fact that we're genetically altering a animal or a certain type of species DNA, their makeup. So we're changing genotypes of the chicken's original genome to enhance certain traits and make them more favorable. So some really good examples in my research that I found from the broiler chicken is that it's been genetically altered in two major ways. And one of them was to enhance egg production in one type of the chicken. These chickens do not overgrow the way that the other crossbreed does. The ones that do more egg production, they stay normal size. They don't quadruple their weight, but they lay a lot more eggs. And then we also have the larger in size compared to a normal chicken. And another example is places that they overgrow in their physique is like their breast, from where they're needing more meat to consume. So they altered that in that type of chicken to make it larger so that they can get more meat. This is just a picture of some of the overpopulation of chickens they are breeding. And then this is a picture of what I will be talking next on my next slide, which is pros and cons. So I wanted to give a quick look at this before I really start discussing the positive and negative purposes of selective breeding. So this all began for chickens in 1950. Scientists started to genetically alter the chicken's DNA for more meat production, which, was a positive. It did produce more meat. And during that time, there was all sorts of shortages and the necessity was there. The demand was greater, so they wanted to make more to keep up with demand. But as I've researched, while I'm well aware that there's a majority of Americans and actually our world that favor poultry over red meat, it's being overdone and the impact is extremely negative on the life that the chickens are having before they are being consumed by us. So while, like I say, the alteration was successful, over the years, the negative effects have become worse and are just too inhumane to ignore. And while I kind of knew a little bit about it, really researching this helped open my eyes. So with one alteration have come many mutations for these chickens, and most of them, and that should say unable. They're unable to walk. They're unable to sit and really move in general towards the final weeks of their life. They are actually almost completely unable to move. They sit in their own filth. Which includes in their filth is ammonia from their urine, and it causes all sorts of problems for their health. It gives them sores and really ugly things in the final stages of their life. Their altered large size has also led to problems such as the green meat disease, and it's also referred to as water gut when the body cannot properly deoxygenate and the abdomen collects water. The worst part about this disease is that it's not visible while the chicken is living. It doesn't become apparent until somebody other than the person who's giving the produce cuts open their chicken and they see that the meat is green and it's tarnished and it's no good and you cannot consume it at that point anymore. And it's usually very present in the breast when you go to cook the chicken, and then you can't eat it. And then the chicken has gone through what it did for nothing to not even be consumed. And for me, that's the worst part in all of this. So, what could we be doing for our part? We must make some altering for these practices for the suffering species. And some simple changes could be made to have more of a humane life for these chickens before they are used for consumption. So, these are just a few examples about how, we could be using a different breed, how we could be giving them more room to move around, giving more light and a better environment. And by using a breed that is a slower growing instead of growing so quickly over a short amount of time, it would really increase their movement, their leg health, the way that the mortality rates for them, there a lot of them are perishing before they're even developed enough to be consumed by us. And they're also seeing more of we would be seeing more of a decrease in the skin burns and the diseases that I had discussed, which very briefly in the ammonia that they're exposed to from their urine and their feces. So, and also, one thing I didn't mention is that they feed them antibiotics with their food, very low doses, but it's every time they're eating, which is all the time they feed them and feed them. And so, by that, we are being exposed to antibiotics, and it makes us more prone to be resistant to antibiotics, which means we build up immunity to these antibiotics. So, when we need to take them, they don't help us as well. So I have listed my references, and I just want to thank you guys all for watching my post this week. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. Thank you.